And welcome everybody to the TMIC Daily Meditation. This meditation series, we host it Monday through Friday every week. And the theme or focus of the meditation series is liberation. Each meditation begins with a short talk about a theme that is taken from our larger liberation community and program called Whole Life Architecture. And then we move into a meditation, either a silent or guided meditation. Over the last couple of days, we have been talking about the different ways that we as human beings, as creators, create our own suffering. The things that we get attached to, the stories, the narratives of how our life was supposed to go. These things we tend to get really attached to. But our work at TMIC is to awaken the creator within you, and by extension, to awaken the world to the power of collaborative creativity. And in order for this to occur, we have to learn all of the ways that our conditioning has currently got us trapped, even ways that we have created the conditioning on top of the conditioning we learned from our friends, our family, and our community. Yesterday, we were talking about I am statements and the power of I am statements as a creative tool, as a creative mechanism. And we talked about the continuous inner dialogue that we have going on in our mind, that roughly 96% of our inner dialogue, our so-called inner speech, is this continuous stream of egoic self-referencing, this sort of narcissistic way of being that we all have been taught and reinforced to exhibit. And creativity and collaboration is very difficult when we are in this sort of inner self-talk, this narcissistic self-talk. And when the way that it really affects us is through these I am statements, these I am this, I am that. I am statements are defining statements. They are acts of creation that are so powerful that even Immanuel Kant warned against the use of how we use our language, saying that every word that we speak should be considered as though it could be your universal law. So when we are in these narcissistic places in our mind where the world is all about us, and we get attached to the story and attached to the narrative of our conditioning, and we defend it and we define ourselves by it, we find ourselves using this very powerful tool, these I am statements, as things that further trap us. We might say things like, I am not attractive, I am unhealthy, I am broke. We might say those sorts of things, even in the inner narcissistic dialogue of our mind, and it reinforces the conditioning and the conditions of our life. And yet we become so attached to these things, even though they don't serve us. So this is the work of liberation, to liberate ourselves from such conditioning, to liberate ourselves from our own narcissism, to liberate ourselves from the stories that we find ourselves trapped in our lives, being a sort of Groundhog Day recursive condition that we can, that it's difficult to find any escape from. This egoic scaffolding, as we call it, must be dismantled if we're going to be able to actually stand in the no-thingness of creativity. Yesterday, we talked also about the 5 different layers that constitute our being. The first layer being pure consciousness or awareness. And then the layer right after that being something referred to as the void, that Out of nothing, we as creators have the ability to create anything that we choose in our life. Most of us don't realize that everything in our life that we currently have is our creation. And so we were talking over the last few days about where are those areas of dissatisfaction, those areas of complaint, those areas of negative self-talk that you are exhibiting in your life that are keeping you trapped in the very prison you seek to escape from. And the invitation is to look at those areas of your life where there's perpetual dissatisfaction, where you are trapped in the conditions of your own I am creation statements. I am not enough, I'm too much, I'm unhealthy, I'm unattractive, I'm poor, nothing works for me. This is the ego run amok, as though you are just a victim of your own life and have no power and no ability to create a new path out of it, which comes from the void. First, the inner awareness, and the next layer is the creative void from which everything gets created. But most of us are too trapped in the world of effects, the world without, believing that the world of effects, and we call it the world of effects because the external world that we spend most of our time engaging with are simply the effects of other people's inner world of ideas, their inner created world. Everything in our world has been created by someone. And so what we are walking through, engaging in, participating in the world of effects, another way of looking at it it's the world of other people's creations. Meaning there was a time when they weren't there. Meaning they had to be invented. And what that means is there is possibility for you to also create something from the no-thingness, as all creativity comes from nothing. You too can create something that can then show up in the world of effects, that can augment and improve your life and the lives of others if you choose, or you can choose to just remain a victim, stuck in your narcissism, attached to your stories, reinforcing those stories with your declarative I am statements that are misused. And around you go. But we love our stories, so most people find themselves stuck here. We love to tell the stories of our suffering to others. We love to share them. We love to ruminate on them. We love to dwell on them. Somehow they give our life meaning, and at the very least, they give us an excuse for why we don't have the life we desire. This doesn't mean things don't happen, but it also means that you are a creative and powerful person who is not a victim, that being a victim, being a perpetual victim, is a choice. Yes, things happen in our life, and we have the ability to respond to them or to react. And if we react, we usually react from our conditioning, and if we respond, it can only come from a creative place. Responding requires that we step into our power as creators and take responsibility. We have the ability to respond. We have taken the time and been diligent to respond appropriately rather than to just be in reaction, rather than just being a habitual walking unconscious reaction to everything that happens to you in your life as a victim. So all of these things are related. Our suffering that we experience is an act of our own creation. If it's perpetual suffering, we are creating the conditions for that to continue. Because we are allowing it to continue. We have allowed our brain's power to reinforce a life that doesn't align with us. Our brain is neurochemically rewarding us not to change. That's called the near win. We teach about this in the whole life architecture program. We all have something in our brain called this neurochemical reward system that creates the conditions for something we call the near win, which keeps us in almost winning behavior. And it's comfortable in the almost winning behavior because it's predictable. We're so afraid of change, the unknown, the void from which all creativity comes, that we don't create because we're afraid to be in the nothingness of the void to create. So instead, we just consume more of what already exists in our life. More pain, more suffering, more financial struggle, more health struggles, more relationship struggles. We just consume and recursively live inside of that struggle because it's the devil we know. If you're sick of the devil you know, and you'd like to actually live a life that's aligned with your true self, it begins with first being liberated from the life of your conditioning. And that begins by liberating yourself emotionally, psychically, sensorially, in terms of the physical environment in which you're in, and spiritually. And this will take time because our conditioning didn't happen to us overnight. We did not become these conditioned beings in a mere few weeks or months. But acknowledging that you are living a life out of alignment is the first powerful step. Being real with yourself and not allowing the ego's walls to keep you trapped in a prison of your own making. Again, we have spoke often because it's such a powerful tool of the power of complaint as something that the egoic mind does, which if we lean into, can also provide the path for our awakening. Our very complaints can open a path for transformation of us stepping into being the creator of our life versus a consumer of perpetual external comfort and entertainment, keeping ourselves trapped, not living a life where we are aligning with our true nature. This is all a choice that we have. The invitation today as we move into our meditation is similar to one we've given a couple times over the last few weeks, which is to look at those areas of your life where you're in complaint. And instead of just tolerating that complaint could be an inner dialogue, or you could be complaining to others. But these areas of complaints are your higher self trying to alert you to the fact that whatever it is you're complaining about, that is out of alignment with you. This is why you're complaining. You don't complain about things that you're aligned with. And the thing about the world of complaint we all experience is it's kind of like the layers of an onion. You might find a complaint today, and you may even start to, just by being aware of it, begin to address and dissolve it. But then there's deeper complaints and deeper ones under that, because we have years of this layered conditioning, the conditioning that essentially created an emotional fortress and a cognitive fortress. With each area of discomfort, we built another wall. And every area of discomfort and misalignment shows up as an area of complaint in our life. Because it's unresolved. It's like a festering wound that we've just built a wall around. And these are not the conditions in which we can become a creator. Because we're always in reaction, patching up the walls we have built around the things that don't align for us just so we can tolerate them. And then we carry this around and complain about it. So this has to be dismantled. And that's the purpose of our liberation work in whole life architecture. And that's the purpose of the theme of these meditations. So I'd invite you, as we move into our meditation again, to really start to pay attention to those areas in your life where you're complaining, where you're dissatisfied, where you're in resistance. Because all of these experiences, this resistance, this dissatisfaction, the complaining, it's coming from a place deep within you that's trying to wake you up. Wake you up to the fact that whatever you're dissatisfied about, whatever you're complaining about, is unaligned with who you are, and for you to stop it, to drop the behavior, to drop the thoughts, even to drop the relationships, perhaps. Whatever is not serving and growing you into a more powerful creator is only holding you back. Give some consideration to where you are in dissatisfaction and in chronic complaint. And that, if you pull on that, is a powerful access point to the beginning of your liberation and to the transformation of your life. I'm going to invite Mignon now to guide us this morning in our neurosculpting meditation.
Thank you so much, Chad, and welcome everyone. I will be guiding you using the 5-step neurosculpting meditation process. And this process helps to calm the nervous system. It primes the brain for creating supportive ideas and gives you agency in how you move through life. And along the way, you'll hear me offer what I call brain cues and toggles. You might notice me spelling out words, dialing up or down, or inviting some playful and even bizarre imaginings. Each of these techniques is intentional and part of how we engage both hemispheres of the brain. And I've been guiding this meditation over the past week and continuing into this week, allowing you to build familiarity, deepen your awareness, and strengthen the effects of this practice. Returning to the same meditation regularly can be incredibly supportive, helping to reinforce desired outcomes and create lasting shifts over time. I hope it serves you in a meaningful way. So let's begin. I want to start by inviting you to get comfortable as we play with the idea of being grounded, so that we might start to soften some of the sharp edges of our more negative thoughts. And we'll start this process by just allowing the mind to do whatever the mind wants to do. It might want to have thoughts, and that's okay, because the only thing I'm really interested in inviting you to do in this moment is to notice that your body is right here, settling. And you might like to give your neck a gentle stretch. Allow your shoulders to drop. Maybe roll out your wrists or ankles if that feels good. And you might like to adjust pillows or cushions, making yourself just a bit more comfortable. And while you are bringing awareness to your body, I would like to invite you to notice that you are breathing. You have an inhale and an exhale, and these partner up in each and every moment to rise and fill and release and empty. So if you can notice the rise and fall of the belly or lungs and the gentle release as your exhale spills right out of your body, you might even be able to slow it all down if that is comfortable for you. Your breath in and out is always supporting you in each and every moment. And if you would like to get slower or longer, your very own awareness can do that. How amazing our body listens in each and every moment. As your breath breathes itself deeper and slower, you're welcome to invite the body to settle just a bit more. Weight in mass moving down toward the surface of the earth as gravity reminds you where the ground is. The earth is gently pushing up against you, and perhaps in this particular moment, you could let yourself sink even deeper into your seat or the cushion or the ground. And you are welcome to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And you might notice some things particular to this moment in time that add to your comfort emotionally or physically. Maybe that's the familiar space of your room. Maybe that's the softness of a blanket or a pillow. Maybe that's the fact that you have a place to rest your head at the end of the day if you need to. Your environment in this moment is supporting you just as your breath breathes itself. So, what if you could stretch into your own creativity playfully? It might be fun to imagine how it would feel to be a whale shark, humongous, moving slow and gracefully through vast blue waters, guided by rhythm and instinct, enormous yet gentle, completely at home in your ocean world. Imagine what it's like to see the world from that quiet, expansive perspective, buoyant. Or maybe instead, it's even more fascinating to imagine how it would feel to be a sprouting seed, slowly breaking through your shell, reaching down and up at the same time, stretching, unfurling, awakening into something marvelous. Would you blossom into a delicate, beautiful flower or rise tall and strong into a majestic tree? What do you imagine? From this space where your body is supported and your creative mind is awakened, I would remind you that this grounding meditation is for you to do with as you see fit. It's yours to author. So, what would it be like to bring to mind the word or concept of being grounded? Perhaps a word or two arise in your mind to describe that state of being. Maybe a word like CALM, calm, or stable, or balanced. Maybe something else, whatever grounded means to you. What if you could take that concept, assigning it a color or texture or a vibration? Would grounded be smooth or vibrant? Would it be a lovely shade of blue or a deep green or something else? And if you were to ask your creative mind, where in your body would you like to activate this grounding? What does that look like for you? You might imagine yourself growing roots of this color and vibration out of your feet or your spine to root down into the earth. Or perhaps you imagine grounding is something else for you. Maybe grounding for you is reclining in a comfy chair or lying in the grass with your spine connected to the ground. This is your mind cultivating an association with grounding. You might just let your breath go a bit deeper, acclimating, resting. And because you are grounded, what would it be like to bring to mind one of your beliefs about yourself that is a bit uncomfortable for you? One of your I am statements. Maybe it's a complaint. This might be, I'm not smart enough, or this might be the concept of lack or insecurity or something else that has been all too familiar to you. Maybe it's been popping up lately. And as you bring to mind this belief about yourself, I wonder if you might imagine the texture of this vibration, this construct, or the color of it. Maybe it's bumpy or sharp or metallic. Maybe it's gray or something different. Maybe it has a sound. But the truth is, your body is supported and your breath is breathing itself, and you have already cultivated grounding. So, what if you could journey through your body to explore where you might be holding the color, the vibration, the words of this belief, this discomfort or complaint that does not serve you? Do you imagine it to be in your throat or your head? Maybe you imagine it to be laying on the body like a weight. And you might allow it to surprise you as to where it might be in your very own body. Maybe there's a sensation you observe or thoughts that arise. Because you established grounding, what would it be like to let creative mind have permission to release or shift what you have found in regards to this belief or discomfort? Maybe you let this fall right out of your body, down those roots you might have made. Or maybe you imagine this turns to vapors so you can exhale it long and far out of your space because you are grounded. Maybe you choose to change its color or sound so that your body grounded holds it differently, softer, easier. Your body might not even need to hold it at all anymore. Breath is breathing itself. Your body is listening to your mind. Your mind is guiding the story. How deep would you like your next 3 breaths to go in and out as you finish releasing what does not serve you and settling into your grounding? And maybe you notice a shift in your body, a shifting sensation, a shifting perception. You might even just imagine a shift taking place. And if you observe or imagine a shift that feels better to you than that belief before, you are welcome to remember that, anchor into that with a gentle hand gesture using your non dominant hand. Or you might just place your hand on your body as a reminder, anytime you use it, of the grounding you created for yourself today. This is your body in the present time, your mind associating with grounding, your creative mind shifting what doesn't serve you. You might even want to choose a word, an activation phrase that tomorrow could remind you of this experience today. A word that is meaningful to you or fun and nonsensical. What's your word? And as much as you have grounded yourself and allowed that grounding to shift what doesn't serve you, naturally you will get better and better, finding it easier and easier over time. Every time you use your hand gesture, and each time you think of your word or go on this meditation, creating an access to grounding. And just as your breath was breathing itself, this story can exist all by itself in the backdrop of your very own mind, available anytime you need it. You are welcome to explore this story as it plays or continues to shift into something more and more wonderfully aligned with you. For the remainder of this time and beyond, embrace it and be well.
And welcome back, everybody. Reconnecting to the world without, from the world within, the world of effects, The world of effects that we either tolerate and accept as they are, or that we become creators of new effects that transform our life and the lives of those around us. But it begins with no longer tolerating our conditioning, no longer tolerating our misalignment, no longer tolerating merely living a life by default. You have the opportunity before you right now to stand in your power as a creator and create a life by design. But it begins with understanding where your life is not of your own design, where you inherited it, and where you're merely tolerating it while chronically complaining about it and building more and more egoic walls and fortification around you to shelter you from your own discomfort of your own life that you're tolerating. This is a never-ending cycle that eventually your true self will not be able to be with anymore. And this is when people have mental breakdowns. This is when people have psychotic events. This is when people have the midlife crisis. Why do we do this dance with ourselves and play this game with ourselves of merely shoving down everything that doesn't align and assume it's just going to stay hidden? At any time, we have the creative power to step forward and create a new possibility for ourselves in any area of our life. So as you go out today into the world of effects, into the world without, consider that everything was created. Everything you're engaging and interacting with was created by someone, and it began as an idea. And what ideas do you have that are yet to be manifested in the world of effects? Ideas that you have about who you would be in the world and the kind of world you would want to create for yourself. Those are as valid as any of the other ideas that have gone before you and created the world of effects you're interacting with. Why not you? Who says you have to just tolerate the way you were brought up, the conditions you find yourself in, the people that you're spending time with that don't align with you? Who says you have to just deal with that? Nobody. So stop telling the stories that you have no choice, that you're a victim. Consider that today as you go about your day. Where are there opportunities for you to start dropping things that don't align with you and create a life by design? If you'd like to learn more about whole life architecture, you can find out more at tmicglobal.com, and we'd love to have you there. Wishing you all a wonderful day, and we will continue our meditations tomorrow.